After you've pressed the Create a New Test button, you will be presented with this page. What you will want to do is click on the Blueprint tab. The blueprint outlines the constraints and required items on an exam. The first column identifies the constraint number. The second column describes the constraint. The third column describes the minimum number of questions that are required on the exam to meet this constraint. The fourth column is the maximum number of items for this constraint that are allowed on the exam. The fifth column shows you the number of items within your course's item bank that fulfill the constraint, and under Form A, the sixth column, you will see the number of items that have been added to your exam. A red number indicates the constraint is not met. There are either too few or too many. A black number within the constraint indicates the constraint has been met. We're now ready to look at the individual constraints by row. The first constraint of every exam will be the total questions. You then can have constraints based on the type of question, the course objective, or the Bloom's taxonomy. And these can also be combined. For example, you could require only essay questions that would meet Bloom's taxonomy too. The last part of the blueprint page is the required questions. As you can see, 1-1 is a required question for this exam. It has been added to the test, and it meets constraint 1, 2, and 4. We're now ready to begin adding items to your exam. I will click in constraint number 2, number of essays. You click on number of items. To add a question to the exam, what you will do is you will highlight the question first, click in the box, then select which section of the exam you want to add the question to. And I will add this question to section 1. And now let's look for another question. As you can see, question 2-1 has been added to the exam and shows Form A next to it. We'll take question 2-4. Let's say I want to understand what the Bloom's taxonomy is for a question before I add it. I click on Properties. I see it's a Bloom's taxonomy analysis, and it's objective 2. When you go back, please note that any digits to the left of the dash indicate the objective for which a question is aligned. So this question 2-4 looks good, so I will add that, and we will add that to section 1 as well. I highlight. Now let's see if there are any other questions that we would like to add from this page. There aren't, so what I will do is click over to the page navigation to see additional questions that meet this constraint. Click on the number 2, and let's say I want to add 4-4. I preview the question, I want to add it, and for this question I'll also add that to section 1. I think I have the right number of questions now, so I click Return. Okay, you can see I have 4 questions total. I have 4 essays, so I'm -1 there, but I have none for course objective 3. So what I'll do is click into that, and I will just add a question. I will review it. Okay, looks good. So I will add that to section 3. Now I'll return. Okay, I've met all the constraints. Now I want to add a couple of additional items to the exam. So I will click into number of items for total questions, and I will go to the second page, and I will add question 5-2 and 5-3. Okay, I can see I've met all the constraints, but I have one extra, so I will show you how to remove that next.